Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil. We have got so much to get into on the video this morning, but before we do that, please do me a favour. If you are watching for the first time, make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and also give this video a like. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on today's video. So this morning, we're going to be talking about Garnacho, who has apparently returned to first team training. What does everyone think about that? Let me know in the comments section. Do you think that's the right decision by Ruben Amorim and Manchester United? I've got quite a lot to say on that one. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let me know in the comments section. Ruben Amorim and Manchester United have brought Alejandro Garnacho back to first team training. Let me know your thoughts on that one. We're also going to be talking a bit about Rashford, who apparently Barcelona have now approved the transfer. Okay, what does that mean? Is he actually going to go? I don't know. We'll talk about that. Also on Mbuemo, there's a sense of urgency around that deal, so we'll be talking about that. Lots and lots to get into. We're going to start off with the big story that broke this morning, that apparently Garnacho is due to go back into first team training today. How do we all feel about that? I don't know. I mean, I somewhat get it. Like, we don't really have any other option if no one wants to buy him. You know, it's not quite the same as the Rashford situation. I know Garnacho's fallen out with the fan base. I get it. You know, his comments after the Europa League final, walking around in an Aston Villa shirt whilst on holiday with Rashford's name on the back. Like, he is definitely trying to wind up the fan base. We can all agree on that, right? He 100% is trying to wind us up. And it has worked. There are large portions of the fan base, I would say the majority of the fan base, who are done with him. You know, he's a petulant child at the end of the day. And I don't think he's part of our future. But on the other hand, the situation is kind of different to Garnacho. And the reason for that is Garnacho does have a resale value. Just turned 21 last week. I think he's still got maybe 3 years left on his contract. Let me just check. Yeah, he's got 3 more years left on his contract. Probably worth around 50 million, realistically. I mean, if Madueke's just gone for 52 million, I would say that he's worth the same amount as Madueke, surely. Would you not? We just have to hope now that with Chelsea selling Madueke to Arsenal, we just have to hope that now a Chelsea come in for Garnacho. Chelsea have sold a fair few players in the last couple of weeks. They've got lots and lots of money. I mean, yeah, they're both the same. I mean, Madueke's 2 years older than him. I mean, surely Garnacho's a better player than Madueke, surely. It is crazy, though, that Arsenal are buying Madueke from Chelsea, right? Who's 2 years older. Don't think he's even played for... I mean, he has played for England. But the point I'm making is I feel like Garnacho is more established in the Premier League than Madueke, right? And Arsenal have paid 52 million for Madueke. Whereas we're sat here struggling to sell Garnacho. I don't get it. It must be something to do with his attitude. I don't know. There isn't any logical explanation because based on talent, I would say that Garnacho is a better footballer than Madueke, surely. But for whatever reason, nobody seems to be wanting to go for him. Like I said, we just have to hope that Chelsea come in for him now. You know, they see this situation. Madueke's gone. They need to bring in signings, and hopefully they just turn around and they buy him. But whether or not that will happen remains to be seen. Obviously, there's still 6 weeks left of the window. Maybe is it 6 weeks? Something around that kind of figure. About 6 weeks left of the window. There's a fair amount left. Yeah, we just have to get this deal done. We need to get Garnacho out. We need to get Rashford out. It's as simple as that. I mean, I say it's as simple as that. It doesn't seem to ever be simple with Manchester United. Tottenham managed to buy and get a here we go for Gibbs White within the space of about an hour. There wasn't a single journalist in world football reporting Gibbs White to Tottenham. And within the space of an hour, they're signing him. I understand they have a release clause. It's slightly different to the Brian Mbuemo deal, but still, we've been negotiating for over 6 weeks with Brentford for Brian Mbuemo. Like, what are they doing? We need some transparency. I wish our owners, directors were more like those at other clubs where they come out and they speak. They don't just hide. They're probably all sat there saying, we don't need to tell the fans what's going on. It's not their club. It's our club. You know, we'll do it how we want. You can just tell the types of people that they are who run this football club. You know, they're like, oh, ignore the fans. They're not going to do anything. They might do a protest here and there. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't take us seriously. Whereas you see other top clubs. Imagine like this was happening at another top club. It would be carnage. But yeah, it's just very, very frustrating. Let's see what's happening in the chat this morning. I think the sneeze is on the way, to be honest, mate. The sneeze is on the way, Rob. Yeah, let me talk about Bryan Mbuemo then, because there is a bit of a twist in this tale, and unfortunately it's not particularly positive reading. So, at the beginning of the window, it was widely reported that Brentford would only let either Wissa or Bryan Mbuemo leave. They would not let both of those two players leave in one window, as well as their manager leaving, as well as the midfielder who went to Arsenal. I can't remember his name. Is it Nordgaard? They said they're not going to let two players leave, effectively. Yeah? The story this morning is that apparently, I mean, this doesn't make particularly good reading, guys, so brace yourselves for this. But apparently Nottingham Forest have submitted a bid for Wissa. And you're probably thinking, why does that matter? But as I just said, they're not going to let Wissa and Mbuemo go in one window. And Nottingham Forest have actually submitted a bid. So this was 10 hours ago. Nottingham Forest submit new bid for Wissa. Apparently they submitted a bid of around 22 million, which seems like not very much. 22 million. I feel like that's a bargain. No? 22 million for Wissa. I mean, he is 28, to be fair. I still feel like that's a good deal if they get him for 22 million. Do you not think? How many goals did he get last season? Let's have a look. 28 years of age, so he's in his prime. Premier League proven. He scored 45 goals in 137 games in the Premier League. So he's averaging a goal in the Prem every 3 games. I think that's pretty good for 20 million. And he's got 13 assists as well. I mean, that's decent, I would say. I'm not saying we should try and hijack that deal. I'm just saying that's not bad business for Nottingham Forest to spend just over 20 million on a player who, in the Premier League, is average. I mean, last season he got 19 goals and 5 assists in 35 games. Wow. 24 goals and assists in 35 matches that he appeared in. I mean, that's amazing. When you think that Højlund, what did Højlund get, like 6? Wow. Let me check that. That's mad. Wow. Højlund got 4 goals last season and Wissa got 19. So he nearly got 5 times the amount of goals as Højlund did. That is honestly astonishing. And he's available, and we're talking about 20 million to Nottingham Forest. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Obviously, if Brentford sell Wissa, they're not going to sell Mbuemo as well. So at this point, it could just be either they do the deal now for Mbuemo, or we might not get him. Because when you look at all the players that Brentford have lost, I'm telling you guys, that sneeze is coming. I can feel it. Every single morning, it is really weird. Is there any science behind this? Honestly, it's so strange. Every single morning at about the same time, I sneeze. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. It's strange. Yeah, when you look at the players that they've signed sold this window. Oh, there's another one coming. Is it still there? Oh. Right. Yeah, when you look at... It might just be like hay fever or something, potentially. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my sneezes. Yeah, when you look at the players that they've let go this window, they've let players like Ben Mee go. Obviously, he's old, but he was experienced. They've let Nordgaard go to Chelsea. Flecken left. He went to Bayern Leverkusen. Obviously, the manager's left. And Mbuemo goes. Wissa goes. I mean, you've pretty much gutted their whole team. And to this point, they haven't really signed that many people. They've signed, obviously, Kelleher from Liverpool, which was a good signing. But other than that, they haven't really spent that much. So, I don't know. Imagine if they let Mbuemo and Wissa go. That's pretty much all of their best attackers gone. It's really weird. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking very good. Looking very good at all. Because if we miss out on this deal, what are we going to do? We have a super chat coming in from Ray. Thank you very much, Ray. Hope you're doing well. Ray says, this is unfair. If we do not get Mbuemo because we are messing around over 2 million, this club needs to wake up. Oh, mate. Waking up, you're putting it very lightly. Very lightly. I think they need to do a lot more than waking up, my friends. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing. I just don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. What is going on in those boardrooms? Are they all on holiday? Are they all down the pub? Are they watching Wimbledon? Are they at the Club World Cup? Like, what are they doing? Where are they? Why is nothing happening? There's no outgoings. We've sold nobody. We're on the 11th of July. Our first pre-season game is next week. And we've sold nobody. We haven't sold a single player. And we haven't bought a single player. I mean, we bought Cunha, but yeah, like, that was an easy deal to do. He had a release clause. We paid the release clause. The deal was done. You know? Like, it wasn't a particularly difficult deal to do, was it? Anybody could have gone and done that deal. We paid the release clause. It's not like we negotiated the release clause down and got it half price, or like, we literally paid the amount of money that they wanted, and that was it. It was as simple as that. You know, there was no like complexity to the deal. We gave them the money. We walked away, and that was it. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. I just don't really know how to summarize how bad this window's been. There isn't really any words to summarize it, is there? I mean, there is words to summarize it, to be fair. I can think of lots of words to summarize it, but it is the morning, and we don't want to... Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, how is everyone feeling about this all at the moment? Like, let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. Really interested to see how you're all feeling about this current situation that we find ourselves in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, really. I know some people think that sounds dramatic, but when you think of the amount of work that we needed to do this window, the amount of business that needed to be carried out, and the fact that we are midway through July, our first pre-season game is next week, and we've effectively done nothing. Literally nothing. At all. I mean, it's very difficult to be positive, isn't it? You know? Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see what else is going on in the chat today. Let's have a look. Roger says, why don't we just pay the money? I don't know. I don't know, is the honest answer. Right. Let's talk about Garnacho. Garnacho is back in training, apparently. Garnacho is back in training. Oh, God, it's just a mess, isn't it? Absolute mess. All right, I think we already spoke about Garnacho, didn't we? Let's talk about Rashford. So, the story this morning, this is coming out from... It's a journalist who works with Fabrizio. He seems quite reliable in the past. And he is reporting this morning that apparently Hansi Flick and Barcelona have now approved the transfer of Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. I mean, what does that even mean? He says new contacts for Marcus Rashford are expected to take place in the next 2 days, with Hansi Flick and Barcelona now approving his arrival. I mean, this is a journalist, an Italian journalist. He works closely with Fabrizio. He's quite reliable. He's got about 400,000 followers on X. I mean, what does that even mean, though? They've approved the transfer. Okay, what? They want to do a loan deal? They want to give us 40 million? They want an obligation to buy on loan? Like, what does that mean? I don't know. There's just so many words this window, and there's so little action. That's the problem. So many words, but so little action. Somebody says we need to wait another year for Mbuemo. I mean, it could be like Jadon Sancho all over again, couldn't it? Where we are in negotiations all summer, and then we don't even sign him, and then we sign them the next year. The problem is, right, I don't even feel like we have any backups. That's the issue that we find ourselves in. So we can go to Brentford and be like, we're not going to pay the extra 1 million or whatever it is that we're saying to them, right? But in reality, they'll know that we don't really have any other option now because we've committed to it. That's the player we want. That's the player Ruben Amorim wants. The player wants to move. We've agreed personal terms. We're going to pay them the money they want. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just don't want to pay his wages for a couple of weeks or something. They want to save a bit of money on his wages. I honestly would not be surprised at all if that's the case. Where they're like, oh, let's just wait a few more weeks. We don't have to pay him two weeks worth of wages. Let's do that. That's a sensible option. And then you'll have someone in the boardroom saying, but isn't it important for Ruben Amorim to have his players for pre-season? Oh, no. We don't want to have to give him 150 grand a week for 2 weeks. No. Let's wait until the season starts. Let's wait until it's a bit closer. They don't care. They're just looking at money. I honestly would not be surprised if that's the case, because when you look at our big deals over the past kind of few years, we weren't going to sign Casemiro and Antony, and then we lose the first 2 games of the season and we sign them both for overinflated transfer fees. We never seem to get the deals done early, ever. When you compare us with other teams, when you compare us with Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal have signed Gyökeres, pretty much. Zubimendi. They've just signed Madueke. They've signed the guy from Brentford. They've signed a goalkeeper. I think they've signed a centre-back as well. They've signed like 6 or 7 players, Arsenal. And they finished second. And we're in the Champions League. We finished 15th. We're in a relegation battle. And have signed 1 player. And we've also let go of Eriksen and Lindelof. So 2 players have left as free agents. You know, you can't give any credit to the Glazers or Jim Ratcliffe for that. Their contracts expired and they left. So those 2 have gone. You've brought in 1. So you've got rid of 2 and brought in 1. So your squad is worse than what it was before. I said this before and people were like, how can you say that? But it is a fact. 12 months ago, Garnacho was being touted as the best young player in the world by the United fan base. Rashford was still around the first team. Antony was still around the first team. Sancho wasn't, to be fair. But fast forward 12 months, Garnacho's out of the picture. Rashford's out of the picture. Antony's out of the picture. Sancho's out of the picture. Eriksen's left. Lindelof has left. And the only player that you have is Cunha, and that's it. So you've effectively let 6 players go, 4 attacking players, and you've brought in 1. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap the video up here, guys. I feel like I'm a bit of like a broken record at the moment. But thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hopefully, I say this every video. Hopefully something happens, but nothing seems to be happening at the moment. So I usually really enjoy the transfer window. It's my favourite time. We do loads of videos. The conversation is always really great. Loads of interaction. But at the moment, everyone's just miserable. So yeah. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your weekends. And I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Bye for now.